Thank you very much. Wow, what a crowd this one is, huh? What a crowd. Hear that up from the rafters. I don't know. You guys okay? Can you see that place? Low up there. Well, I have some friends up there. They couldn't get seats. Can you believe this? Thank you very much, everybody. It's great to be in Milwaukee. We love Milwaukee. And a very special welcome to, we love this place, right? We got it the ship contract. We got it the biggest shipping contract. You know that? We love being in Wisconsin. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. And we have a country that's going to hell, but we're going to turn it around very fast. And I'd like to begin with a very simple question. Very simple. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? So I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans with your beautiful vote. Oh, we don't want your money. I don't want your money. I want your damn vote. We want that vote. I will end inflation. I will stop the criminal invasion of our country, the biggest problem we have right now. And I will bring back the American dream. And this is all you really need to know. We have somebody who's grossly incompetent as, I guess, I don't know, is she the vice president, the president? Is she a contender? What the hell is she? Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and we'll fix it very quickly. And America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. It's going to be. You watch. This is going to be so much fun. That's the good thing about that little split pitch that they had, that little, because it showed how bad they are. It showed how bad they are. And there's never been spirit like we had. There's never been any race that we've ever had in the history of this country that's had this kind of spirit. So I just want to thank them. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of gross incompetence and failure, or whether we'll begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. They're going to be the 4 greatest. And I'm asking you to, it's very hard for you to do this, to be honest with you, because you look at what's happened to our country and how the hell can you do this? But I'm asking you anyway to be excited about the future of our country again. Just be excited. We're going to turn it around. And I'm asking you, dream big. The American dream, just dream big. We're bringing it back. This will be America's new golden age. It's going to be the golden age. Look at this place. I mean, what the hell? How do you beat it? How do you beat it, huh? How's Eric doing? I think very well. Oh, boy. He's a great guy. He's a great-looking guy, too. Sometimes they say maybe he'd be better off without that mustache. I'm not sure. He looks he's such a handsome guy. I said, I don't know. But, I guess you better leave it because I hear you're leading, so we have to leave the mustache. Right? And you're doing great, Eric. Boy, oh, boy, we love it. We love it. We love this whole place. We had a little event here, recently, that, right? That was the convention. We had the convention. I had a little patch on my ear, excuse me. Little patch. I said, I don't know. I was a little embarrassed walking out with a patch. But there's nothing you can do about some things, right? Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. We win this state, we win the whole thing. You know that? On Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala that you've had enough, that you can't take it anymore. She's been the worst vice president in the history of our country. And you remember, just 5 months ago, everybody was saying she can't run, she's grossly incompetent. She was the worst vice president in history. We're not going to take it anymore, Kamala. You're fired. Get the hell out of here. So today was the last day for in-person early voting for most of Wisconsin. There's a little tiny section, but I'm not going to get into the detail. But you still have until Sunday to vote early here in Milwaukee, as well as in Madison and Green Bay and Racine. We love Racine. We just left Green Bay. We had a great event. Was anybody at the one in Green Bay? That was a good one. How's your football team? You know what I liked? I love Brett Favre. And we got a call from Brett, and you have to, I mean, he's a great guy, and boy, what a player. And I shook his hand, I said, man, that's the biggest hand I've ever seen. His fingers were like sausages. That's why he could throw a ball 80 yards, right? No, he was great, but he never did it before. It's such an honor, because he never did it before. Thank you very much. No, Brett never did that before. You know, as an athlete, it's hard to do a little bit. You can't do it. You lose some fans, maybe. Who knows? Crazy people that say, oh, I don't like him because he likes somebody. But Brett was great, and we had an unbelievable day. And to get his endorsement, and he wanted to do it right here. He wanted to do it right in Wisconsin, any place he said in Wisconsin. And he gave me a full endorsement, and that was a great honor, right? That was a great honor. Great guy. He could really rip that ball. So thank you very much to Brett. So get everyone you know, you have to do it. You have to vote, vote, vote. We're going to win this thing, and we're going to win it big, and I'd love to win it right here. I'd love it. And if you haven't voted early, just come on Tuesday. We don't care at this point. We don't care when you vote. Just make sure you vote. And if you see anybody cheating, know what you do. You know what you do. Report them out immediately. No, we're doing great. We're leading just about, I think, all 7 swing states we're leading. But don't listen to me now. Don't listen. Just pretend we're 1 down, right? We're 1 point down, please. We don't want to say, oh, we don't have to vote today, Alice, because he's leading. No, don't do that. We've seen that stuff happen. We don't want to do that. Oh, the mic. Yeah, I think the mic stinks. I think it stinks. Crazy. Crazy. Oh, that's what I was wondering what the hell they were shouting. I think this mic stinks, by the way. And then we don't pay the contractor. I say, don't pay the contractor. Then they write a story. Trump doesn't pay his bills. He's a bad guy. No, the mic is terrible. I had another one. You know what? I've done 3 of these today. Somebody said maybe what we could do is maybe we could just skip the last one. I said, there's no way I'm skipping. There's no way. And this is the best one of all. Look at this place. Thank you. The ladies from North Carolina, 259 of these they've come to. Look at them. They're beautiful. I don't know where the hell their husbands are. They're married. All of them are married. But they're great, and thank you very much. We're rounding the turn, aren't we, huh? We're rounding the turn. And we have front row Joes over here. Look at them. And we have Mr. Wall over here. You know, it is sort of sad. Is that mic now better back there? Oh, that pisses me off. They don't. They don't get it. Well, the mic at Madison Square Garden worked very well. Was that a great event? But honestly, it was basically the same crowd as you have here, right? Same thing. Your NBA arena, your team is very good. I would say the Greek is a seriously good player. Do you agree? And tell me, who has more Greek in him, the Greek or me? I think we have about the same, right? He's a great player, maybe the best player in the NBA, actually. He may be the best player. He's supposed to be a very good guy, too. But with your help, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to make America great again. Thank you very much. Thank you. So in breaking news, the economy created a pitiful, you won't even believe this, the economy stinks. What timing? What timing? 4 days before the election, they have among the worst numbers ever in history. Nobody's ever heard. They did 12,000 jobs. Normally you're 250, 300,000, 400,000. They did 12. Think of it, 12,000 jobs. And it's hundreds of thousands of jobs less than it should be. Think. Because they're pathetic. They don't know anything. These people don't know anything. She's a very low IQ person. We don't need a low IQ individual. We just had that for 4 years. We don't need this. But those numbers are so low, they're almost disqualifying. The only thing good about the numbers I'm going to give you now are that it's great to run against the people that created those numbers because it's terrible. And just think, a few months ago, they fraudulently claimed, remember, 3 months ago, 818,000 jobs. It was a fraud. Everything they do is a fraud. And then they go after people that aren't frauds. They're a fraud. The whole operation stinks. But they created 818,000 fake jobs. And they thought they'd get away with it, and a whistleblower blew the whistle. And they blew the whistle. They thought they were going to announce. They call it a correction. That's a hell of a correction, by the way. That will be the world's biggest correction in history. What do you think, Ron Johnson? That's the biggest correction, was it? You know, corrections are meant for like 700 jobs, not almost 1 million jobs. But now they've just revised the past jobs number, right? Last month. And they revised it downward by 112,000 fake jobs. So these guys are playing fast and loose. These are crooked people we're dealing with. The people we're running against are crooked as hell. So that's almost 1 million fake jobs. And I think it's something that Congress ought to look into, really. They ought to look at, who the hell ever heard of these numbers? And they wanted to revise them after the election. Could you imagine if you lost the election and then 2 days later, we've revised the numbers downward, 1 million jobs? Nobody's ever heard of it, but we thank you, Mr. Whistleblower. You know, some whistleblowers are very good. Kamala's failed economic agenda wiped out nearly 30,000 private sector jobs and nearly 50,000 manufacturing jobs in just the last month. Do you believe this? Nobody's ever heard of these numbers. Even I mean, I know they're incompetent, but I thought they were sort of riding along a little bit on what we built. With almost 100,000 manufacturing jobs killed since the beginning of the year. 100, that's a lot. 150,000, these are all the numbers coming out of the so-called government. Great government we have. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls last month. This is like a depression. And there's nothing, I mean, no event. I think they're trying to blame it on the hurricane. No, that was, you know, a relatively small area. No, not the hurricane. Not the hurricane. They're the hurricane. And nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force, which is almost unheard of. No, these are the worst numbers anybody's ever heard of. The data shows that 100%, listen to this part, of all new jobs, net job gains in the past year have gone to illegal migrants. And the jobs were taken from African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and union workers. I don't think the unions are too happy about this. But I told you this was going to happen. It was inevitable. They're letting millions and millions of people flood into the country. And the African American population, if you see these numbers now, they're going to release them. But I think maybe, Ron, you should try and get them early because they're really bad. They have taken so many jobs away from African Americans, less from Hispanic, but that's going to catch up. But the African American job picture is unbelievable. And we had it going so good, but they've come in illegally and they've taken the jobs, and people that have had jobs for 20 years and good jobs and they raised a family, they had a little house and everything nice, and they've now lost their job to illegal migrants that have poured in through the open border policy of that stupid person. Kamala's inflation nightmare has, think of this, has cost the typical American family $30,000. Think of that one. Higher prices because the inflation's just raised. And you know, it started when they played around with my energy. I had no inflation. We had the greatest energy we've ever had. I was going to have it 4 times higher by now. And we're going to do that, but we got a little bit of a delay because, and we were going to have it 4 times higher. We were going to take care of Asia. We're going to take care of Europe. We're going to make a fortune, start paying down debt. We have $35 trillion in debt. We're going to lower your taxes. I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country and the largest regulation cuts. And we were able to do more. Thank you. Thank you. And now she wants to impose the largest tax hike in American history on top of everything else and raise your taxes by more than $3,000 a year. Is everybody happy? I don't want to ruin your night, but don't worry, we're going to make it good. You got to suffer a little bit to get them out. Get those people out. They're grossly incompetent. I stand before you today as the only candidate who can rescue our economy from total obliteration and restore it to strength, prosperity, and actual greatness. We're going to restore you to greatness. As the just released numbers plainly indicate, the economy is now a disaster. And are you listening to this, press? They're the most dishonest human beings. Are you listening to this? These people, you know, whenever I look at them, they turn the cameras off. The red lights go off like, you see them all go, they don't want any part of it. Now, that's a lot of press. That's a lot of cameras going so late at night. But no, we're gonna bring it back, and we're gonna bring it back fast. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna get the energy down. It's gonna go down.
That's what makes the most sense.
We're gonna drill, baby, drill.
That's what makes the most sense.
But I don't know if you know it. Their economy is expected to get significantly worse. How does it get worse than that? It's really bad. Top Wall Street analysts like Scott Bessent, who is one of the most brilliant guys on Wall Street, he said that the only reason the stock market is up is because everyone thinks Trump is going to win the presidency. That's pretty good. That's good. We had a great stock run. Can you imagine if Kamala won? You would go down to a 1929 style depression. I believe that too. No, that'd crush your incomes and kill millions of jobs and wipe out your savings. We're not going to let that happen. You got to get out of the vote. Just got to get out. I don't like to say, you know, it's when I win. No, I sort of say, should I say when or if? You know, I know, but it sounds a little braggadocio, right? All right, when I win, you are 4 days away from the best jobs, the biggest paychecks, and the brightest economic future the world has ever seen.
I mean, she just don't make sense when she speaks.
Thank you.
And
That's
whether
so
people
nice.
agree
Thank
with
you.
him or disagree, he
Thank
still
you.
is speaking, man.
I will massively cut taxes for workers and small
So,
businesses, and we will have no tax on tips.
I mean, she could do that now, like
No tax on overtime.
that too. I mean, it just to help the people.
And
Everything
for our
is
seniors,
crazy.
ready? No tax on Social Security benefits.
I mean, you figure elderly people have no
And I
other
am
income
going
but
to,
that. And
this
if
was
they
given to
could,
me by a friend of mine. Actually,
they
this was
would
given
work.
to
A
me
lot of
by
them say that, but
a great
they're
political
just
reporter.
going through health problems and stuff.
And she said,
sad.
sir,
That's
why
I watch
don't
this,
you
because you
support
hear
and give
everything
a
he said
tax
about.
credit for
She don't say
family
nothing.
caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one? I said, that's a good idea. So we're going to do that. Do you know, if you didn't have those people, you would not have enough hospitals in this country to take care of anything. You'd need to double your hospitals and you still. Those are the greatest people on earth, and they do it with love. And we're going to get them a tax credit. Is that okay? It's about time. To rapidly reduce inflation, I will end Kamala's war on American energy. We're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack, frack, frack.
That's the only way.
You know, she goes and she
They
says,
know it.
oh, no, I've always wanted to frack. This woman, she's the worst liar. Look, I had to go and beat crooked Hillary Clinton. She's crooked as a $4 bill. You know? I've never held a microphone up so long in my damn life. Like I'm weightlifting, sucker's heavy.
Those Asians, young, got people make fun of it,
But
it's
she's crooked
respected.
as hell, right? Crooked Hillary, but she was less, like, she didn't lie this way. This woman, Trump, is going to do, he's going to terminate your Social Security in his first week in office. No, no, no. I'm the one that's going to keep it going. No increases in age. He's going to ruin Medicare. He's going to do that. I see her today. She's at a news conference. First of all, she's exhausted. She looks like
I don't got
she's
time to argue.
exhausted, right? Man. And
I
you know
just
what?
know what I watch and what I
I've
hear.
done 62
what I see.
days.
I
No
make
days
my own
off.
opinion,
I've
that's all.
done so many. I've
Not
done
arguing.
so many. Thank you very much. No, I've gone 62 days. Today is an example. Yesterday I started off in New Mexico. You know why? It's not really a swing state, but it's a state that likes me a lot. It's got a thing called a border, and it's an open sieve. And people are pouring in by the thousands and thousands and doing a lot of destruction and doing a lot of crime. And I went there, we had a massive crowd. You couldn't even see the end of it. It was like early in the day on a regular weekday. And today I was in Michigan. We were all over the place. We were in Michigan, but I said, and Michigan's very important. You know, we're leading in Michigan. You know why? I'm going to bring back the car business, a little thing like that. You know, I told them today, a year ago I heard through a friend of mine who builds plants. He's a great plant builder, the best and the biggest in the world. He's building this massive plant, and I wanted to see it. I said, I want to see the plant you're building. He goes, well, it's not in the U.S. I said, then I don't want to see it. I'm not interested. I have no interest. Where is it? It's in Mexico. Who owns it? China. They're building this massive, they didn't start it. They're building this massive plant right on the border so they can make cars, sell them into the United States, and destroy the rest of Detroit. Take all the business away from Michigan, and in all fairness, Tennessee and South Carolina and lots of other places.
Word.
And you to a lesser extent, but you too. But they're going to build this big plant. And I didn't like it. I said, that's killer. You know, they're trying to solve the Detroit situation, and we want to bring back company. And we're going to bring it back. Because you know why? the most beautiful word in the entire dictionary. You know what it is? It's tariff. The tariff. You're going to become so rich with the word tariff. You're going to become rich as hell. You're not going to know what to do with the money. I'm telling you, you're going to become very rich with the word tariff. And so I told them, and I was at the Detroit Economic Club. It was beautiful, and I was giving a talk, and I saw the guy that told me that they're going to start building a big plant in Mexico right on the border. And he was in the audience, John, his name is. He's, I think, the biggest in the world at this stuff. It's very good. And he told me if you asked me to build an apartment, I couldn't build it, or a road, they couldn't lay the asphalt. But a plant, he has no problem with computers all over the place and robots. Lots of robots, by the way.
Damn.
So I said, well, how's that going? I was making a speech, and I said, I'm right about there where that very beautiful girl is. I'm not allowed to say that. See the beautiful blonde girl right there? I said, now, you know that's the end of your political career, what you do. You're not allowed to call anybody beautiful anymore. If you do, it's the end of your political career. Ron Johnson would never do that. That's why he's a great politician. No, right where that young lady is, John is sitting there. And I called him, I said, could you come back? And he comes backstage. Thank you very much. Fix the mic. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Do you want to see me knock the hell out of people backstage? You want to see? I don't mind if they want to come up a little forward or something, but it's a pretty stupid situation, but that's okay. I get so angry, I'm up here seething. I'm seething, I'm working my ass off with this stupid mic.
I mean, you gotta understand
I'm blowing out my left arm, now I'm gonna blow out my right arm, and I'm blowing out my damn throat too. Because these stupid people.
But he's being honest. Like, I know that he's got to be tired.
I'll make you a deal. Pretend you're listening to it perfectly, and I'll come back and do another one, okay? With a decent...
I mean...
It's so stupid. And you know, the only thing I ask for, I don't care about
he
lighting.
He always spoke his mind like
I don't care about teleprompters because I never read the damn things anyway. By the way, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a frickin' teleprompter?
I mean, that's true, too, where he could just talk from the heart, in a sense, because he's just making...
But I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. The only thing I ask for is a good mic. And this is the second time today that this happened. So now if I were the president, and, you know, like a dopey guy like this Kelly, the guy's a total moron, and that happened, I'd fire him, and everybody would say, gee, I'm such a bad person. You're not bad. You fire people. When, for instance, the generals that destroyed us in Afghanistan, every one of them should have been fired. Should have been fired.
I mean, if you're stocking stuff in the wrong place all the time at your job, and they tell you and tell you and tell you, you know, your register is coming up short all the time. Like,
is that better?
I mean,
is that better? That's terrible. Is that better back there?
That's coming from.
Is that yes or no?
So.
What crap? The only thing I ask for is a mic. You don't have to give me, I don't even need a stage. I don't give a damn. Give me a good mic, and I went through 2 of these today. And it knocks the hell out of your throat. But so far I'm doing okay, right? Okay. Is that better? Yeah. And did you notice I came in today, I said, and you know, this is after 4 of these things. I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I'm a human being, right?
Yeah.
I come in, and here's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, come on, this man's like, he's giggling the crowd, but it's...
Way too low. Way too low. So I walk in, I said, shit, there's nothing worse than I walk in like this, and did you notice? I was bending over like this. And then everybody says, is there something wrong with his back? What the hell is wrong with that thing? They're saying,
I mean,
He's cognitively impaired and physically impaired. There's something wrong with them all because I have guys that are stupid back there. All right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? What a shame. But we're going to come back. I'm going to give you a free performance back in that corner. You got a bad area back there. But I think this is better. I think it's probably better. But what we're doing is we're going to cut your price of energy in half in 12 months. You are, because we have more liquid gold under our feet than Russia, than Saudi Arabia, than anybody.
I can relate
Ooh,
to
that
some
sounds
of that.
much better. Does that sound better? Oh, that's good. Now I don't have to come back. But we're going to cut it because we have all this beautiful liquid gold, and we're going to cut it, and it's going to drive everything down. It's going to be, you're going to get, okay, ready? January 20th. First of all, you're going to vote November 5th. You're going on Tuesday. That's number one, because we got to get there. I don't like talking about, like people are coming up to me, my staff over here, who are great. Sir, I'd like to recommend some people. They said, I don't want to talk about any people. First, I want to win, right? We don't want to talk about people. Don't tell me about people. Everybody wants a job. Remember, there was a moment where they were saying, oh, nobody wants to work for Trump. He's too difficult. He said, let me tell you a little secret. They die to work for us. You know why? Because they all want to be this glamour deal. They want to be in this beautiful administration. They want to be secretaries. No, they say, sir, nobody wants to work for you. Nobody wants to be Secretary of State and be known famous for the rest of your life. Nobody wants to be Secretary of the Treasury. Nobody. These people are nuts. It's these people right there. They don't want to work for Trump. They don't want to because he's difficult. You know why I'm difficult? Because I want perfection for our country. That's the only reason I'm difficult.
Which, I mean, you can't argue for someone to want that. That's all. That's all I can say.
So I will terminate the Green New scam, one of the great scams in history.
To fix your car or
remember, our country was going to be dead in 12 years. Remember that? Well, we came up at the 12. What happened? Where are we?
Whatever.
Let me tell you, they have global warming, right? They said global warming.
Half of the grass
they used to call it, but now they call it climate change. You know why? Because climate change covers cold, if it's too cold, if it's too climate change. We're suffering climate change. If it's cold, that's good. If it's hot as hell, that's good. It used to be global warming, and that wasn't working because we're actually cooling. So we have that. But you know, the biggest warming problem we have is nuclear warming. So they talk all the time about the ocean will rise in 500 years, 1/8 of an inch. Who the hell cares, okay? But we have maniacs that have nuclear weapons, so we can't let that happen. And you need a smart president. As an example, Russia would have never gone into Ukraine if I were president. Zero chance.
I don't understand what you're saying.
And everything Biden said, I said he's saying the exact opposite of what he should be saying. Israel would have never happened. That attack, October 7th, would have never happened. What a shame, right? What a shame. You know what else would have happened? Afghanistan, the way, we would have left sooner, but we were going to leave with dignity and strength. Instead, we lost 13 great soldiers. I know their families. You know, Biden and Kamala would never call the families, not even one little phone call. I don't think they really wanted to hear from them in the end. But they wouldn't call. 13 great people were lost. Many people lost the legs, the arms, the face was just horrifically injured and obliterated in some cases. Nobody ever talks about them. I talk about them all the time because those people, I mean, they're going to suffer for the rest of their lives. It's so sad. What happened at Afghanistan, and because of that, by the way, Putin looked, he said, oh, the U.S. is a paper tiger. I guess I can finally go into Ukraine because it's the apple of his eye. Always was. He told me, no, I love it. I mean, he loved it, right? He loved it. He wanted it, but he would have never done it with me. Zero chance, zero chance. So sad, so sad. So many things have happened. You know what else wouldn't have happened to you? You would have had no inflation. I had no inflation. You wouldn't have had. Inflation was caused by their stupid energy policy that drove the energy through the roof. It's not so complicated. To bring back millions of jobs, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet. And this mic is much heavier than the other one, I would think. I can do exercise. I can build up my muscle. But only for those who make their product here in the USA and hire American workers for the job. Right?
Like I said,
Right?
I'm just sharing. I ain't arguing.
And if these companies don't make their products here in the USA, then they will be forced to pay a very stiff tariff.
Man, I am for
When they
stuff
send
being
their
made here in
products into the
America.
United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and taking our workers' jobs, and we will now have protected companies. These companies will not leave because they're going to be protected by tariffs, because they can't be undercut. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. Nobody talks about it. Those guys don't. They don't talk about anything. They only talk about bad. They only talk about fake news. But we took in hundreds of billions with a B, dollars from China. No other president took in 10 cents. Oh, you know, and I watched the other day, Mrs. Obama was nasty to me. What was that all about? What was that all about, Scott Walker? Nasty. Oh, look, it's Tommy Thompson. Holy mackerel. It's Tommy. Is that Tommy Thompson or am I? Stand up, Tom. Stand up, Scott. What a couple of real pros, good guys. But Tommy, I got along with him great. You know, in 2016, I wanted to win Wisconsin so bad. He said it's not doable. He said, you are a very difficult state. But I won it, you know that. I did win it, despite your difficulty. I actually won it twice, but these are minor details. But, which everyone knows is actually.
I mean, I watch it because he talks his
But
shit.
Tommy Thompson, and he's
That's
a
pretty
long-time
funny,
governor,
yeah.
a long-time pro, and
Man,
I said, what do you think, Tommy? I have a big meeting, and it's hard. You know, you have all these states, you want to go to the states, and he said, sir, you're wasting your time if you come to Wisconsin. I said, I don't feel that way, Tommy. I had like one of these deals, except with fewer people, to be honest. You know, we become more popular with time. But it was good, it was big. I said, I don't think so. He said, sir, I'm telling you, you waste your time. But here's what I'll do. I don't want you to go to Pennsylvania, go to Michigan, go to these places you have to win. Don't do it, sir. But here's what I'm going to do. I never forgot it. It was the weirdest thing. He said, sir, don't do it. But if I feel you can win it, or if I feel you're going to win it, if something happens over the next couple of months, I'll call you and you can do it then. I said, wow, that's a great idea. So 3 weeks go by and I get a phone call. They said, sir, there's a Governor Tommy Thompson on the phone. I said, who the hell is that? You know, you sort of forget. You sort of forget, right? You know, it's like you're focused on the. I said, well, it's like Tommy. So I said, hi, Tommy, how you doing? What's up? Sir, it's time for you to get in that little chopper and come right up to Wisconsin. You're going to win this sucker. He said, you're going to win it. And he was right, right? He was right.
like I said, I'm not here to argue. I'm just watching.
He was right. I got in that chopper. I was up here so fast they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe you could travel that fast. No, and we won. We had a great victory. And I will say this, we're much more popular. This is a much bigger movement. You know, Make America Great Again, MAGA. It's the greatest movement by far in the history of our country. It's amazing. There's never been anything like it. And people don't even fight it anymore, really. They don't win. But it's the greatest movement. And when Biden was doing that thing with the purple background, you remember that? He looked like the devil, right? Remember that? Sebastian, have you gotten taller, Sebastian? What's going on with you?
Vance did
Sebastian, do you
Joe
remember?
Rogan.
Why are you standing? Do they not have a seat for
I
you?
think it was 3 or almost 4 hours.
He's giving me applause before we...
But
He's
Harris
a great guy.
couldn't
Does
do it.
everybody listen to his show?
Trump did it too, so I don't know. That's why
He's been loyal. I'll tell you one thing. That guy was with me through thick and thin.
Rogan.
Anything that came up, he said, the president is innocent. I said, oh, thank you, Sebastian. He would say, I don't know exactly what they're accusing him of, but he's innocent. No, Sebastian has been great. He's been a very good, loyal friend, a really good friend, and a really talented guy, smart. Smart. But we are now more popular.
I would
This
like
is
to
the
see
weave,
her
you know,
do Rogan.
weave, right? You know, they used to say, these are stupid people, they used to say, he rambled. I don't ramble. I do a weave. You know what a weave is? It's a story. And as you're telling the story, you realize that there's a little offshoot, go up here. But the key is then you have to come back. And then you're doing the story, you're getting down to bottom line, and boom, you do another little weave. Then sometimes you do a weave off a weave. It's here, or that, and then back. It's called a weave. And one guy got it right, a writer. They said Trump is a totally brilliant guy.
I mean, he's not
He said,
stuttering
I've never said
words.
because you
Yeah,
always
you know,
have to end up in the right place, or then you're rambling, you know,
like
then
the
you're
same thing you
rambling.
just said.
But no, I have a very fertile brain. But it's the weave, and we do it, and it covers a lot of territory. This way, you tell one story, and you cover. Really, it's like 15 subplots, but you get down to the final answer. And actually, they're starting to say it. You know who said it? You know who said it? Rogan. Did anyone see that? What a nice guy. What a good guy.
Joe Rogan, like I said, if Harris did Rogan, I would have watched it too.
Because that's called long form.
I
Joe
don't
Rogan,
know,
that's called
shit to
long
argue
form.
about. I just
So you're with him and you're talking, and you don't have to rush your answer and cram it in, right? I like the way, by the way, 60 Minutes, see this part of a weave too, I like the way 60 Minutes, in order, because she doesn't do a weave, she doesn't know where the hell she is. She gave the worst answer I've ever heard to a question. One of the main questions, she was on 60 Minutes, Kamala was, you can't call her Harris, because nobody knows who Harris is, right? Have you seen Harris lately? Who the hell is Harris? So you call her Kamala. But on 60 Minutes, they did something that was amazing.
I call her Harris because I
I
can't
think it's
pronounce
the
her
worst
first name right.
scandal in the history of
Just say Harris.
broadcast. I think it's the worst scandal. She gave an answer which showed that she was grossly incompetent. It was crazy. It was just like all words. They had no meaning, no effect. They took the entire answer. They said, yes, we adjusted it slightly, yeah. They took the entire
That
answer
is crazy
out,
that they
threw it
did
away,
edit that interview.
and they took an answer down here that had nothing to do with
That's
it,
why I
and put
like
it,
this
which
is
was
my
still
TV,
crappy, but at least
you know,
you could
explain
make
it
a
straight
case.
from him.
So they took the answer
No
out and they
editing,
put in
nothing
a
like
new
that.
answer. And I said, that's terrible. It's part of the news division. They get free licensing. They're worth billions, by the way, but the government brilliantly gives it to them for nothing. And they're all crooked. ABC's crooked as hell. Look at this David Muir, the way he was asking stuff. This guy, pretty boy.
Pretty boy.
And his hair's not as good as it used to be, by the way. It used to be much better. But you know what? He was asking stuff. I said, what the hell is he asking? He said, crime went down. I said, only a fool would say crime went down. Crime didn't go down. It went. And then the following day, right, it came out, crime was up 49%. It's terrible, but what 60 Minutes did is unbelievable. They took the answer out, they replaced it with another answer. You're going to see
I'm not
them
here to argue.
trying to explain, Sebastian. They're trying to explain
Sorry.
why they did that one. Did you ever
Not
do that?
arguing over
Would you ever do that?
which one's
See, he
better.
may do
I
that for
just-
me, but I don't think so,
I watch
right?
them both with the same
If he did, he
attitude.
wouldn't be
Look
talking
at
about it, that I can tell you. But he may. I don't want people to do that. You know what they do? They take mine. Mine is a beautiful, beautiful answer. But here's what they do.
I mean, the dude.
They cut out part of the weave, and then it doesn't sound so good anymore.
She's always laughing, but he's always
But they,
making jokes. So.
what 60 Minutes did and CBS, I think the license should be taken away from CBS. And I think that 60 Minutes should be forced to either close or take a very extended stay. And I'll tell you what, if a conservative broadcaster ever did what they did, it would be the end of their lives. Everybody would be in jail. Everybody would be in jail. What they did. And so in honor of you, we
crazy.
sued them yesterday for a lot of money.
I mean, it's wrong.
We sued them. And I sued them, and we call it election interference fraud. It's it's a fraud.
Basic sense.
And I don't think there's any real way, I don't believe there's any way they can even answer it. You want to know the truth? But as we rescue our economy, I will restore our borders, because I think that's your biggest problem. I do. They're destroying our country. They're putting dangerous people. Look at these beautiful people. You'll be interspersed with murderers, drug dealers, terrorists. Do we have any in the house right now? Are there any people? Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. She's violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions all around the world, from the Congo in Africa to Venezuela. You know, Venezuelan crime is down like 72%, right? Because they put their criminals into the United States of America. Thank you, our stupid leaders. And they're stealing countless American lives. You'll see that in a couple of minutes. It's horrible what's going on. It's a terrible situation. Today I want to hear directly from a mother whose world has been absolutely shattered. This is a young, beautiful mother who I met at one of the rallies, and we said, you mind if we do this? She was so dead. It's so, I had some of the toughest people I've ever seen with me. They were all crying when they saw this. When do you see this, please?
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night, and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her. We're best friends. Yes. Shake it again. I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men. We're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her. Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn. My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter, she failed Jocelyn. She was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
This is what we're letting into our country. This is what we're letting in. And you could take that scene and multiply it times thousands, whether it's on highways, whether it's just shootings, plane shootings. These are rough people, rough people, and we can't take it. And it's the worst thing that's happening to our country. I think it's the worst thing that's happened to our country in decades. Nobody's ever even imagined a thing where other countries will take their prisons and open them and drop everybody, thousands of their prisoners. You know what they saved by doing that? And I know most of the heads of these countries. It's like they can't believe they got away with it. And as soon as I heard we were going to have open borders, I said, I know immediately that that's what's going to be done. They're opening their jails and their prisons and their mental institutions, and they're becoming empty. Some are already empty, but all over the world, all over the world. This isn't just in South America. It's not just Guatemala, Mexico, Honduras. You know, you think in terms of a little, so these are all over the world. Big in the Congo, big. They're sending them over, big, tough. They're tough, and they're mean, The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. The savages charged with brutalizing and murdering Precious Jocelyn are members of the same vicious Venezuelan prison gang, Tren de Aragua, that's taking over apartment complexes and unleashing violent killing sprees all over America. All over America. Think of it. They're in Colorado. I think Colorado's going to vote for Trump. You know what they did? They were the ones that led the thing to get me up. I was the leading candidate of both parties, leading the Republicans and leading the Democrats.
Like I say, I'm not out to argue. I'm just showing what he put. And I'm watching it myself.
Democracy. And that governor, a radical left lunatic who's petrified of
not out to argue.
The gangs that are taking over.
Just watching what he said. I didn't go up there and say, hey man, you gotta play this shit.
Went and told his people to try and get me off the ballot. Can you imagine that?
What his rally
that
was
would have
like.
been a fine mess.
I'm curious myself.
That would have been a fine mess for the country, wouldn't it? And we went to the Supreme Court of the United States, 1-9-0, because even the justices that were liberally inclined, they said, we can't do that. You got to beat them at the ballot box. It was very heartwarming to see it as a 9-0. But this governor in Colorado did it. And you know who hated him the most? Are the Democrats in Colorado. They thought it was terrible. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. And on day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. These towns have been conquered. Think of what that means. Conquered. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country immediately. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua criminals and MS-13 criminals, which are just about as bad. We took out thousands of MS-13.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to argue, you know what I mean? But I just like hearing what he got to say and sharing it, because everybody says this, that, and the other about him. This is right off my TV, you know what I mean? And I'm standing right here watching it or live stream or whatever, you know what I mean?
Not painful enough.
And this is directly from Trump himself.
And it's lucky that we
From
had
that
ice
route,
around because
so.
ice was extremely good. They were extremely good.
You know what I mean? Everybody says, oh, well, he says this, he
And
says
the
that.
school
And even then with Puerto Rico,
that we
it
have
was because
running for
the
president
comedian
without
said
having
it because they
gotten
have a
one single
damn
vote
trash
for his
problem.
14
And I didn't even realize it until they had it blow up because of his bad jokes. So in a way, it did bring light to a problem that a lot of people wouldn't have heard of. Like I said, I didn't even hear about or see anything about Puerto Rico.
I will invoke and this is incredible because we had to go back so far, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of
Dogs eating cat, or the cat and dog eating, you know, in a way.
They ran a tough country.
There was a police
To
channel
target
here
and dismantle every
that shows
migrant
police
criminal
body cam
network
footage, and
operating
they show
on
the
American
officer
soil.
going to
And
a
if they
woman
come
eating
back
a
into
cat
our
in that
country,
area.
it's an automatic
I
10
don't think
years
she
in
was
jail
Asian,
with no
but she still was
possibility of parole.
doing that. It's fucked up. You know, so like I said, it's just...
And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law
I'm not saying, I'm not
enforcement
telling
officer.
anybody to do this or do that. I'm just showing them. That's it.
And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the
I'm
United
just
States
curious.
of
That's why I
America.
put a
We will
poll,
have them.
because I'm just curious myself on what I see in the news to what people, you know, do other polls.
And
I'm
despite
just,
all the
I'm just
damage he
curious.
has caused,
That's all.
Kamala has spent the final week of her campaign comparing her
I don't wanna
political
argue.
opponents
And that's why I put
to
a
the
poll
most
just
evil mass murderers in history. You know
express
that,
that.
right? All of us. You, me.
Shit, I forgot to even check it. So,
2 days
64 to
ago, Joe
36
Biden called our
out of
supporters
92.
garbage. He called them garbage. That's worse than deplorables, isn't it? Remember Hillary? How did that work out with deplorables? Well, garbage is working out even worse, fam.
I mean, the man
They
probably
call
something with a
you,
trash
all of
truck.
us, garbage. We're garbage. And I believe we have 250 million people. I believe we have most of the country is about making America great again. And my response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. You just can't do it. Doesn't work.
The man does do some shit that's like good entertainment, I guess. It's funny as hell.
And you can't be president if you hate the American people. And I actually think they hate the American people. She's not a good person. You know, her health, 95% of her health left. You know, when she was in the DA's office.
I ain't see any of the other side riding around in a trash truck.
When she walked in. Good morning, madam. Good morning, they were told to say. Good morning,
I'll go work at
Madam
McDonald's.
District
Like,
Attorney.
she could have went there to flip a burger this time instead of doing the fries. Just to outdo him.
Kamala's closing message to
It's just been hilarious to
Americans
see if they
I
had,
believe
like,
she hates you. I do believe that.
a lighthearted way of
I
going
do
about
believe
it. Like,
that.
he does
My
shit that's
closing
pretty funny,
message
but
is
she's
that I love
always like,
America and I'm inviting you to join us in
if they was
building an
doing something that would
extraordinary
be hilarious
future
back
for our
and forth,
nation.
then it would be, I don't know, pretty cool. He makes fun of stuff and she just...
My oath of office is an oath of allegiance to you, the American people. We're gonna straighten this mess out. It's a mess. It's an incompetent mess. I mean, she can't answer. She can't. I see her being interviewed yesterday. She can't answer a question. She goes all over the place. She doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. She's crazy. It's crazy. I'm asking for your vote. But I want you to know that whether you vote for me or not, when I win, I will fight for you with every breath in my body. I'm going to fight very hard. Whether you vote
I mean, they had a thing with some California school teachers talking about a pizza party and all the classes that voted for her got it for free, but the ones that voted for Trump would have to pay for it themselves. To me, like, that's crazy. Like, that's dividing more. Like, it shouldn't be so much.
I took a lot of heat about it 2 months ago.
Even if people disagree, they gotta like be more civil with disagreeing. You can't argue if somebody gets your order wrong. You can't just be like,
I think it's
man,
a con job by these people.
you know, start a bunch of shit. You just gotta say, okay, I just need
I
you.
think they do.
Either don't send it back and deal with it, or just.
I think
be
they like
polite
because they
about
know
shit.
I'm going to protect them, and they said, "Oh, it's such a horrible thing." I said, "No, I want to protect the women of our country. I want to protect them in many ways. I want to protect them in many ways, but some of the ways are suburban housewives. They say don't like me. I think they do like me because thank you."
I mean, gas was cheap, you know, and that's one thing I really noticed.
What part of Westchester do you live?
Well, man, I've never seen it hit $5, but I've seen it in California and all around.
Illinois.
It hit $5, man. So, that's just crazy. food and everything else. So you see a lot of
Illinois.
people struggling, which is it's hard to see, you know. They're self-included.
You may
She
have
doesn't speak
the
of anything
worst
that she can do or will
governor
do or did do.
in the entire country.
It's just all she wants to do is blame the companies. It's not the companies. Like he said, you got to have the energy to transport the stuff. These trucks got to have fuel that's reasonable price on top of, you know, other things.
He's terrible. They threw him out of the family business, so he decides to run for governor. I know the
People
Pritzker.
needed to
I
be
know
able
the
to get back
Pritzker
and
family
forth and
very
do
well. I was
things so they
partners
can
with them
afford.
actually. They have some good people, but they threw him
Gallon
out
of milk, $5
because
and
he was
stuff,
not
eggs
very
and
good,
stuff.
and he ends up running
It's
for
crazy.
governor because he's
Bread,
got money.
$6,
But he's
$7.
terrible.
A $5 foot long.
But I'm not
used to be
allowed to use
$5.
the fat word. That's the other
Then they
word
said you can get 6-inch for $6. Like,
You are not
what?
allowed to use
You
the fat
added
word.
$1
I
and
will
lost
not
half
do
of the
it, but that
sandwich.
guy
That's
is
crazy.
disgusting.
6-inch for $6 and a
Everything Kamala
$5
says
used to
is
get
a
you a
lie.
foot long.
Her
12
entire
inches.
campaign is
Yeah,
one
and
hoax
Subway,
and
like,
slander
I
after
don't know, I
another.
never seen that.
But the more they lie, the more they smear, the more
That's just me.
you need to get out and vote. We're going to get rid of these people. We're going to get rid of them.
I mean, there's so many. There's people I've saw in other people's videos where they went
The only way
around to
to
the
stop
crowds
the lies
outside
is to swamp
of his
them. We're gonna
rallies,
swamp
and
them.
people was coming
Swamp them
from
with
all
that
over
vote.
the world, like different countries, just to be
Kamala
here to
has
show
no
them support.
vision.
There
She
was an
has
Asian
no
lady said
ideas.
she's here
She's got no
for
brain
a
power.
month
She's got no solution.
just to go to his
All
rallies.
she can talk
It's
about.
crazy.
Did you see it the other night?
I mean,
All she can talk
and she
about is
doesn't live
Donald
here.
Trump,
She
Donald
supports
Trump,
him.
Donald Trump.
I don't
Evening,
know. I just like to see.
Tonight,
I like to
speak
see what
about
everybody
Donald
keeps saying. He's so
Trump.
mean and
Donald Trump,
hated
Donald Trump,
about.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
I've saw a
Donald
lot of
Trump,
stuff,
Donald
so
Trump,
I just.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump,
I mean,
Donald Trump.
she references him so many times during her talks. It's crazy. He doesn't mention her like that. I mean, he'll say he, her, or she, or something.
All she talks about.
Trump.
You know, there are some people who thrive
It's
under
like they get
pressure,
paid
and there
every
are
time
some
they say
people
his
who
name.
crack under pressure. She cracks under pressure. And the more pressure
Every time you
Kamala
say
is
Trump,
under, the
they
worse,
give you $1.
worse she crumbles. She is, at this point, very rattled. You take a look at her. She may, is there a chance she would resign before the election 3 days?
I just can't understand
I
stuff
actually
she
think
says, man. It's like,
They
it's
should have
like
left
riddles.
Joe. I think he would have done just as well, maybe better.
Biden, too.
And it's come out
It's real
today
hard.
upon extremely good authority, the press, therefore it's no
But
authority.
he don't.
But it's come out today
He may go
that
off
Joe
and
Biden
talk this, talk
likes
shit,
me
but
more than he likes Kamala.
he's still just talking clear.
And that he would rather have me win than Kamala
And he
win.
got people's names and
Because
leaders
they
and
took
all
away
kinds
his
of big ball
presidency. It's the
players,
first time in the
boxers.
history of the presidency
You know, he's
they
sharp,
stole the
man.
presidency from him. He
Just
would
me.
rather have me win. Actually, I think psychologically he's better off. It's a much better story for him.
I
What
just
they
sit
did
back
is
and I
terrible.
watch and
They went in and they said,
Oh.
you're out, Joe. Can you imagine you're the president of the United States and you have crazy Nancy, she's crazy as a bedbug. Crazy Nancy, who had a lot of Visa stock, and she sold it one day before it was announced that Visa's under major investigation.
I mean, that shit's crazy.
And the fake news doesn't do anything about it.
I mean, that doesn't affect just this person.
And then
that
you
person,
have
it's all of
Kamala.
us, man.
Who couldn't do an interview with Joe Rogan, who frankly is very fair.
Like
I
I said,
go
I
tough
wanted
for
to
fair,
see
but
her
he's
on
very
Rogan.
fake
I
out.
want to see her talk
You know, we
for a
had the
couple hours
largest, it was
straight,
the biggest interview he did
like a
me
regular
this
person,
week, as
and
might
you know,
have heard.
talking and
The
just
biggest
about
interview that he's ever
policies
done
of life,
in
whatever
terms of
she
hits,
feels
hits,
like. But
hits.
just to hear her,
Over 100 million, much more
Be
than
herself
100
in a
million.
sense.
How much? Like 100. Where's TikTok, Jack? He knows everything. This TikTok, he's a TikToker.
but she only
You
wanted
know,
to
they're
do an
20
hour
years
or
old
something
and they
like
work
that,
for
and
every
all
guy,
kinds of
TikTok
shit she
Jack.
demanded for Rogan.
When they turn 20, they're finished.
It's like
In
no
that
longer than an
business, so
hour.
they're too old, much
She
too
did that
old.
one interview with the one
Then you
and
get
came
sued
there
for
late
age
and then left early.
discrimination.
So
If she can't handle an interview, then she can't handle certainly President Xi of China.
he's done so many of these
President
rallies, but she's
Putin
only
would have
done
never
certain
done
things.
it.
and
She
She's always
can't
got
handle
somebody,
anything, but she's not equipped for that.
like
She's not
a
a
rapper
president.
or a singer or something. to
She'll
tell
get
you.
overwhelmed,
And
melt down,
it's
and
just
millions
him.
of people will die. You're gonna
He's
die.
the rock
This
star in a
is not
sense. So like,
a charity event.
I don't
This
know.
is an election for the biggest and
But I like to
toughest
see
job
both sides, and it's just what
anywhere in the world.
I scratch
This is
my
the
head.
toughest
Like I
job
said.
in the world. with the most at stake, right?
I don't have hatred towards none of them.
So do you want to
But I
lose
just
your
can't
life
understand
savings
things,
because
that's
we
all.
put a weak and
I'm just trying to
foolish
learn
and
and
incompetent
understand
person
what
in the White House? I don't think so.
people say so
Do you want
bad
to
about
lose your
it.
job and maybe your house and pension because Kamala has the economic
That's all. I'm just
understanding of a
trying to
child?
see this.
The presidency is a job held by Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln, Dwight Eisenhower, George Washington, and even Ronald Reagan. People of strength and intelligence. People that have a leadership quality. Would you trust Kamala Harris to talk with Russia or China about nuclear war? I don't think so. I really don't.
We haven't seen her have a conversation with anybody, let alone some
Nothing is
people
more
of power
dangerous
like
than to
that.
give immense power to a very weak and
And even as
incompetent
vice
person
president, I
with
thought
an
they went around
extremely
at times to
low
different
IQ.
countries and did different things.
We had enough of low IQs in the last 4 years. We don't need.
I
We
don't-
can't go through another person who's a dummy. We can't do it.
I mean, if they're gonna say
You
it,
wouldn't
just show
put
us
Kamala
something.
Harris
Shit.
in
That's
charge
all
of even
wanna do
a
is see what
kindergarten class. You can't
they
do it.
do.
You can't do it. So at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, can you afford to put someone this incompetent in charge of our country's future? No, you can't. No, you can't. But on top of it all, Kamala says she would not do anything different. Not one thing different than Joe Biden did. In other words, she should not run for office because he was the worst ever. Take a look.
You have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years.
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The subject entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. 2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% said the economy is
all of these clips and all this stuff, people can
has hit a
always
new
go back and
40-year
find
high,
it,
increasing by
Google and stuff and see
9.1% over the financial
if
year.
it's real, when it happened, and all that, you know?
Which has been linked with more than
So it's like
100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment
It's
complexes.
just crazy when you go to Walmart and everything is like behind glass, man. And you gotta get somebody to help you get the shit because it's behind glass.
There is nothing that would come to mind. Can you imagine?
I mean, it used to be a time when people needed something they could have asked and got help and didn't have to do crazy shit to get shit.
No, she doesn't want to bring that up either.
Everybody just went past that.
She actually would have changed things, but she couldn't think of it. You know, she didn't have enough time. She only had about 4 days to prepare. If you want to end this disaster, you must get out and vote. We're going to solve this problem very quickly. It's going to happen fast. It's going to be beautiful to watch. We're pleased to be joined today by your next senator from the great state of Wisconsin, Eric Hovde. Eric, thank you very much. You're going to have a great, great career. He's a good man, too. Good man, loves the state. And he is central casting. And I'll tell you what, she is a disaster. Okay, she's a horror show. Thanks as well to Senators Ron Johnson. Ron, stand up. Wow. Good man. He's a good man. He really is. Thank you, Ron. Great job. Great job. Thank you. We have a man who's just become recently, he was a great attorney general, and he's now a senator. He won a big race, a tough race, a race that everyone said, well, there's no way anybody's going to win this race. And he beat somebody that was supposed to win. And he's become a star in the Senate. Eric Schmidt. Eric, thank you. Thank you. And from the great state of Oklahoma, I love Oklahoma. You know, they have 77 counties, and I won all 77. You know who second was? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was second. He won 56. I won 77. I have to move there immediately. I have to move. Mark Wayne Mullen. Thank you, Mark Wayne. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks to people and all that. Like,
and we have Representatives Brian
I just don't hear her doing a
Stile.
whole lot of thank
How are you doing with the Act of Blue or whatever it's called?
And it also
Got to
gets
get it
me
done
when he
before
goes
the
to certain
election.
places, he buys food
He's
and
working
stuff
on
for
one of the
people.
biggest scandals.
I just, when
in
they
the
showed her in
country.
that store that
It's
day,
like
with
where
her
the
getting her
Democrats
Doritos,
put money into the Act Blue or whatever
there was
the hell they
nobody
call
but
it.
just them in there.
And massive amounts
it'd
of
been
money,
cool to
and
see
everybody's
some of
talking,
her
and he's in charge.
supporters and her
So we're going to blame you
buying
if
them at least
nothing
a
happens,
bag
right?
of Doritos.
No, but everybody knows it was a rip. But
I don't
honestly,
see
you got to get this stuff done
compassion
before
for her
elections,
so
not
much.
after elections. And we learned that. They're finding all sorts of things now in Pennsylvania. Who would have thought you had to do this? But good luck with that, Brian. That's so important, okay? Thanks. Good luck.
Small bags of Doritos to people or something.
Scott Fitzgerald. Scott, thank you very much. Thank you. Great. Good job you're doing. Kevin Hearn. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. These are warriors, by the way. And a real warrior. He grew up here and he moved to Texas. He's one of the most popular guys in Texas. He's a congressman. He could do anything he wanted. They love him. And he actually asked for a leave of absence. He said, if you don't mind, I'd like to go to Wisconsin where I grew up. I want to help the president win that state. He left Texas, and you know what Texas said? We love you for doing it because we have no problem. And, you know, we win Texas by a lot. This is always a little bit tighter. It shouldn't be tighter. It should be the same thing. Oh, I wish it was the same thing. Texas has been so good. But, you know, they view him as a hero for doing this as opposed to, gee, why is he not in Texas? And he's been up here for 4 months. He's got his brothers helping him. He's a great congressman, and he's a fantastic man, Troy Nels. Thank you, Troy. Have your brothers stand up. Your brothers stand up, fellas. Boy, oh, but the whole family came up here. Really, they came up just to help me. It was so really incredible. And candidate for Congress, I don't want to mess with this guy's a big, powerful man, Randy Niemeyer. Thank you, Ray. Look at the size of that guy. I've met him backstage, Scott. I've met him, and I said, wow. And former governors, Scott Walker and Tommy Thompson. Great people. Great. Thank you, Scott. Great. Two great guys. A very respected man in D.C. and here, a friend of mine, a great lawyer, Reince Priebus. Reince? Thank you, Reince. Thank you, Reince. And we love Bobby Kennedy, didn't we? We loved him. Everybody loves him. You know, I have a deal with him because he's really into the environment, but he's really into health. I say, Bobby, you take care of health. You work on those potatoes and work on those oranges, and you work on everything.
See, I don't hear her talking about the food like RFK and
You
him.
got to leave alone, Bobby. Just leave it alone.
That's one thing too I don't hear.
Because we're going to make our fortune. I don't want you telling me I can't touch it, Bobby. The only thing I've asked Bobby to just, please, Bobby, don't tell me it's like a problem, please.
Trump just
Because
wants
we're
the
going to
oil
make
for
so
the
much
energy.
damn money. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation in the world, including Saudi Arabia.
Harris has never said anything
Including
about
Saudi
the
Arabia
food
and Russia. You know, I took it from number 4 to number 1. We were number 1. We were energy independent. Can you imagine, Mr. Wall? Please stand up, Mr. Wall. I'm going to buy that suit. I'm going to buy that suit. Susie, please buy that suit for me. We also have the head of our campaign on today. And other than this microphone, she's done an unbelievable job this year. Unbelievable. It's the best run campaign. People say, well, actually, to say it's the best run campaign, you got to win. So let's say, do you mind if I wait about 4 days? But Susie Weil, she's incredible. Incredible. You know who's her father? You know, I believe in this stuff so much. Pat Summerall, right? Great announcer, great football player, great announcer. Look, he's going, wow, that's very impressive. But no, we believe in genetics a little bit, right? But Susie's done an incredible job, and thank you, Susie. You really have, and Chris and everybody else, right? Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Former Small Business Administrator, Jovita Carranza. Thank you, Jovita. Jovita. Thank you, Jovita. Did a good job. And Sebastian, we want to thank you very much. You are really Sebastian Gorka, everybody. And a man who I think is going to bring us home, GOP Chairman Brian Schimming. Thank you, Brian. What a good
even
job you're
Vivek
doing.
went out and started dumping trash.
I heard him speak the other day. I was in the
Ramaswamy or
plane
something.
flying in, and he was up saying, you are good. You are psyched, right? Like we all are. We want to win. This is the biggest win.
I ain't seen none of them on the other side doing physical labor or anything, or even make certain shit funny. They just be like so
in
mean.
political history in this country. And
He
maybe
makes
beyond.
fun of their mean shit, and it's just.
And not only great because it's a great event,
Got
it's
called
going to be
garbage,
great
he
because
pulls
of
up
what
as the
we're going to be
garbage
able to
man,
do.
like,
We're going to be able
what
to
the
fix our
fuck,
country.
man?
That's why it's really going to be great. It's going to be
Now
very
people wearing
important. And a
orange
friend of
vests.
mine, one of the greatest developers, a great guy, a very generous person. He's always giving money to charity. When there's a problem like in North Carolina, he wanted to go with me, wrote out a big check all the time.
One hits me,
He's a
does something
fantastic
mean, and the
man,
other
Steve
just makes
Wyckoff. Thank you, Steve.
makes fun of.
Thank you, Steve.
Shows they don't
Great
have to
guy.
be mean.
So, in conclusion, here are the facts. Kamala is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas or so. Remember Pocahontas? Her mother said she had high cheekbones, which I think is very racist for somebody to say that. I think it's a racist statement. I think you should investigate that statement. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement, and anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week or 1 day is not worthy of being president of the United States. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. Who in this room is willing to give up their gun, please, to Kamala? Who refuses to give up their gun? I think she has a very tough job. But she even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense. And perhaps worst of all, she lied about working at McDonald's. She lied. She never worked at McDonald's. She never worked there. She's a liar. It was always, I went and checked it out. Actually, they were the best French fries I ever had. 9 seconds after taking them out of that fat, whatever the hell. But they were the best.
Oils.
You know, when they sit around for about 2 hours, not so good. With your vote this November, we're going to fire Kamala, and we are going to save
She could have went there
America.
and said, to prove it and say, hey, look, see, I ain't scared to get my hands dirty. What the fuck?
We will cut your
I don't know.
taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to a place called Wisconsin.
She just says mean stuff instead of like
We will build America.
does some stuff.
We
that's
will buy
fucking
American, and we will hire American. That's what we want. And I will end the war in Ukraine. Would have never happened if I was president. And I will stop the chaos in the Middle East. October 7th would have never happened. All those people would be alive right now. And I will prevent World War III. We're not going to have World War III. With this people, you'll have it. And it would be a war like no other. This would be a war like because of the power of the weaponry. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield over our country, all made in the USA. And we will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children
I
to
don't hear her
love our
talking like
country,
that,
to
saying she
honor
wants
our
to make
history,
stuff pretty
and
or
to
beautiful,
always
or, you know.
respect
I mean,
our
and I don't
great
see where people can find that
American
wrong with him
flag.
saying stuff
And
like
we
that.
will
It's
put
like,
in
it's like an affirmation.
a bill
in a
into
sense, and
Congress.
see it look
They say
nice.
it's unconstitutional. I don't know why.
I don't know. That's just me.
We're going to protect our great American flag. Anybody burning the American flag or destroying our American flag gets 1 year in jail. Thank you.
I mean, even that, other countries do that similar thing to people that do that to their.
And we will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports, yes?
That shit bothers me, because how you gonna have a
I will
woman,
defend
man,
religious
boxer,
liberty. I will restore free
actual
speech. And I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. Our
Too much.
Second Amendment will be totally protected. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country and defend our borders and protect our citizens and our lands, right? And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. It will be stopped. And we want people to come into our country. We do. We want people. But they have to come in legally through a system. They have to love us. They have to love our country. We will not be invaded. We are not going to be invaded. It's like an invasion. It's like a military invasion. You know, the guns and weapons they have, some of these guys have, they're military grade. They're at least military grade. Some are better than military grade. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. And it will be more than anything else. It will be filled with a thing called the American dream. We're going to have the American dream back. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is just too big to rig. So you need to get out and vote. For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. They are corrupt, sinister, horrible people. Horrible people. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you, all of you. It belongs to you. It belongs to you. It was hard-working patriots like you who built this country. And 4 days from now, it is hard-working patriots like you who are going to save our country. You're going to save our country. And I would love to see you do it because you deserve it. You've been very loyal to me. I want all my primaries here. I want everything here. I had a little slip up with some bad things that happened in one election, but you know, everybody understands it. And we just had tremendous success here. I have so many friends here.
I mean, he always just saying like nice
remember
words.
when you're about to
And
press
she's
that
always
lever,
like saying he's mean, this and that, and always saying bad stuff.
everybody wanted that damn boat contract to build like 28 destroyer-type boats. And I'm a very visual person, so I took the thing that was designed, which wasn't that beautiful.
It's beautiful, nice,
And I
gorgeous.
reshaped it with them, with the yard. Right? You know the yard.
You don't
we're
like
talking
nice
about,
things,
great
though,
yard.
so I
That's
like.
correct. Thank you very much. And I took it and they said, no, you got to have a little more point. You got to see this thing. Looks like a yacht with lots of guns on it, and they've done a great job.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted, every state wanted it. Some of them won't even talk to me still. But I wanted that one of the biggest contracts, right? That was one of the biggest contracts, and Ron helped me a lot, and I wanted it to go to Wisconsin, and it went to Wisconsin, and they're building their little hearts out. So when you're ready to press that lever, Sebastian, remember that beautiful boat. Remember the yacht with guns all over it. After all we've been through, and we have been through a lot, but after all that we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. We're going to make them great years. We're going to make them great years. With your help from now until Election Day, 4 days, we will restore America's promise and we will take back the nation that we love. We love this nation. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this. I could have a hell of an easy life. I could have those waves just smacking me in the face. Beautiful salt water waves all over the place. I got waves all over the place. Lots of places with lots of waves. Mr. Whitcock can confirm that, right, Steve? Like probably more than anybody. I don't have to be here. But if I had my choice, I'd rather be right here with a broken down shit microphone in Wisconsin.
I mean, listen
I would
to him.
rather be in Wisconsin
That comes from
than
the
some
heart.
beautiful
Man.
beach.
That wasn't
I would
broke.
rather be right here.
How's he gonna write it in the speech that he's gonna have a broken
Because we are one people, one family, and one
Yes.
glorious nation under
Shit
God.
microphone.
We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down. We will
That's
never,
hilarious,
ever
regardless
surrender.
of people say.
Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. We're going to start winning again. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. Thank you, RFK Jr. We will make America strong again.
60,
We will
40,
make
35,
America proud
122.
again. We will make America safe again.
Still,
And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you.